He stepped on the tail of an alien beauty, not knowing that he now had to marry her. Jaxon Ward had been warned. Don't wander too far during galactic market day. But curiosity, as always, overpowered common sense. He weaved through the bustling alien bazaar on Station Azeron 7, eyes wide with wonder. There were creatures made of crystal, merchants with 6 arms, food that floated, and languages that shimmered in the air like light. Then came the moment that changed his life forever. He was sipping something suspiciously purple from a levitating cup when he backed up and felt his boots squash something soft, smooth, and twitching. Snap! A sharp yelp echoed behind him. Jaxon turned around in horror. A stunning alien woman stood there, tall and graceful, with bronze-hued skin, glowing silver eyes, and flowing hair that shimmered like oil on water. Her long, sinuous tail curled protectively around her leg, the tip red and throbbing where he had just stepped. I didn't see. I'm so sorry, Jaxon stammered. Her eyes narrowed. You stepped on my tail, she said, voice sharp and accented. I didn't mean to. I didn't even know it was. Intent does not matter, she interrupted. People nearby gasped. A vendor dropped his glowing fruits. A pair of cloaked guards slowly backed away. What? Jaxon asked, suddenly feeling a terrible weight settle in his stomach. One of the bystanders whispered, He's done it. He stepped on a Lireen noble's tail. Wait, what does that mean? Jaxon asked. The alien woman's expression turned stone cold. You touched the sacred appendage of a noble Lireen maiden. In our culture, she paused, then dropped the bomb. This means you are now my betrothed. Jaxon blinked. I'm what? Within the hour, Jaxon found himself in a hovering ceremonial chamber, surrounded by towering silver-robed officiants, exotic music, and holograms depicting traditional Lireen union dances. Someone was fitting him with a robe. Another person braided his hair. Without permission. The bride-to-be? She sat across from him on a throne of woven starlight, arms crossed, looking both annoyed and amused. This can't be happening, Jaxon muttered to himself. Her voice echoed across the chamber. You are very loud for someone about to become royalty. Royalty? I am Princess Sci-fi of Lireen Prime. My people do not take tail-stepping lightly. This is insane, Jaxon said. Where I come from, stepping on someone's foot gets you a dirty look, not a lifelong commitment. She raised a brow. Where I come from, the tail is sacred. Touching it without invitation is a declaration of lifelong responsibility, protection, devotion, and stepping on it? Marriage. Jaxon groaned, but part of him noticed something strange. No one around him was laughing. No one acted like this was a joke. They were preparing feasts, lighting stars in bowls. This was real. I mean, he tried again. Can't we just call it an accident and move on? Sci-fi's face softened slightly. You could if I release you, but that would shame both me and my house. I would be seen as unworthy. Jaxon stared. So you're trapped too? She hesitated, then nodded. Duty is complicated. The ceremony began. As the officiant chanted in Lireen dialect, Jaxon looked around for an escape route, but everywhere he turned, guards, diplomats, joyful alien faces. He looked at Sci-fi again. She caught his eye. There was something behind her silver stare. Something not cold, but tired, lonely even. Jaxon realized she wasn't thrilled about this either. When the final phrase was spoken, bond complete, the chamber erupted in music. They were now married. Officially, that night, they sat on opposite ends of a golden transport ship bound for Lireen Prime. Neither spoke at first. Then Jaxon broke the silence. So now what? You will meet my family, face the council, begin consort training. He gagged. Training? I'm not a golden retriever. Sullivan actually smiled at that. There may be worse fates, she said softly. Jaxon sighed. Look, I didn't mean to ruin your life. You didn't, she replied. It was already scripted. Scripted? She looked out the window. I was bound to marry a noble brute. For alliance. Politics. You just stepped in. He winced. Literally. She turned back to him. At least you're interesting. Well, I was just a cargo pilot. You still are. Just now you're mine. They sat in silence again. Then Jaxon asked, Do you want to undo it? The marriage. She considered that for a long moment. Part of me does. But the rest, she met his eyes, the rest wonders what kind of chaos you'll bring. And I haven't laughed in years. Jaxon smiled. I do bring premium chaos. She chuckled. Then perhaps we'll see where this leads. 1 year later, in the great palace gardens of Lireen Prime, Jaxon stood beside Princess Sullivan, now Queen Sullivan, watching their 2-year treaty negotiations come to a close. Behind them, Lireen guards trained, under his command. He adjusted the golden sash on his robe and leaned over. Hard to believe, huh? She smirked. That I'm still married to a clumsy earth man? That I accidentally stepped into the best mistake of my life. She turned to him, her tail now loosely wrapped around his wrist, a Lireen symbol of deep affection. Likewise, consort.